All right, my favorite one, boys, and I ask this to almost every girl I talk to. Perhaps you've heard this on this podcast before. What would you do without any chance of failure? God, I love that question because it immediately gets her fantasizing. It gets her into her emotions. It gets her feeling good. And what happens when women feel good? They attribute it to you, especially if you're the one that provoked those feelings inside of them. What would you do without any chance of failure? And one I wasn't going to even talk about today is, if you could travel anywhere right now, where would you go? If you could have lunch with anybody throughout history, who would it be and why? This alone will give you a 10-minute conversation, which, yes, might land you a phone number.
The Unapologetic Man Podcast.
The next one is to casually state something that you do not like. And this basically sets you up as the selector, sets up the fact that you have standards and lets her know that you don't just accept any girl. And I do this all the time, especially with people who are super drunk. So in nightclubs, bars, wherever I happen to be, if I see somebody who's super drunk, I may make a comment such as, typically I like drunk people because they're actually pretty fun, but it's like that level of drunkenness, I don't know, it kind of puts me off. I know in my case, I've never had a sip of alcohol in my entire life. And it's just kind of, I don't know, dude, when people get that loose, I don't know, it kind of makes me lose respect. How about you? So when they hear that, they immediately assess in you that you're confident enough to be discerning. You're confident enough to have standards. And she knows now that if she were to act a fool, getting completely inebriated to the point where her stomach falls out of her ass, she knows that you're not going to be attracted to that. So stating your standards, stating what you will and will not accept in the conversation is attractive, and it does boost attraction. All right, the next one, boys, is this. This is so awesome, and this is true. I like to talk about spiritual things with women because they eat it the up. I've done many podcasts about spiritual things like messages in water, the human body's a lie detector, how plants react to our thoughts, and a bunch of other different things that show the woman that you're deeper than just the guy who, once again, is trying to get his red helmeted warrior into her squish mitten. So what I like to say to women, and I actually want to tell you guys this too, is that when you tell your body it's safe, and yes, I mean you're literally telling your body it's safe, and telling those body parts that are perhaps sick or perhaps body parts that you don't really like if you're like me and you get a little bit of extra fat on your midsection, or you're like me and you have really skinny wrists, instead of insulting that body part, which I know a lot of you guys do, and I've been guilty of doing it too, instead of insulting it, you tell the body part you love it and you appreciate it. What they found through studies, especially those people who have been sick, who have had some kind of malady or some kind of issue, when you love on a particular body part, healing goes up by as much as 50%, scientifically proven. When you tell girls these kinds of metaphysical realities, how your thoughts turn into things, how the universe is a big mirror, what you put out there comes back to you, and yes, even the way you talk to yourself and talk to your body physically changes your chemistry, changes your physiological state, and can actually increase healing, this creates a lot of attraction. Now, once again, you wouldn't open with this, hey, did you know that if you talk to your body in a nice way, it's going to heal by 50%? She's like, the f*** you talking about? But this is a good topic to throw in there once the conversation is stuck a little bit. This, of course, is up to you, boys. Are you into the metaphysical stuff? Are you into the spirituality stuff? But going back to a podcast I recently recorded, spirituality is one of the biggest rizzes there is out there. When you talk about spirituality with women, they fucking love it. All right, my favorite one, boys, and I ask this to almost every girl I talk to. Perhaps you've heard this on this podcast before. What would you do without any chance of failure? God, I love that question because it immediately gets her fantasizing. It gets her into her emotions. It gets her feeling good. And what happens when women feel good? They attribute it to you, especially if you're the one that provoked those feelings inside of them. What would you do without any chance of failure? And one I wasn't going to even talk about today is, if you could travel anywhere right now, where would you go? If you could have lunch with anybody throughout history, who would it be and why? This alone will give you a 10-minute conversation, which, yes, might land you a phone number. What's up, brother? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. To watch the full podcast episode, click here. And before you go, if you're feeling extra generous, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me in the algorithm. I'd sincerely appreciate it. Unapologetic army.